Executive functioning struggles. Individuals, such as those with Asperger's and high-functioning autism, also commonly known as Autism Spectrum disorder, are brilliant, gifted individuals whom have the potential of really benefiting the world when successful and able to make a living doing what they are talented at. With their strengths, however, also come with a fair share of challenges. These challenges make individuals struggle to find and keep a job, be successful, and make a living independently in spite of their gifts, which can be sad for many that have amazing potential. Many of these challenges are common amongst individuals on the spectrum, and one particular challenge I am going to talk about here is the struggle with a part of the brain that handles organization, planning, decision-making, and punctuality, or in other words, executive functioning. Many people who live in successful, fulfilling lives, many individuals on the spectrum also take success of life seriously. However, many who try to be successful start feeling lost, frustrated, and discouraged because they always find themselves feeling irresponsible. They often witness missing appointments and other important deadlines. They forget to do what normal everyday tasks, finding themselves often losing track of things, disorganized, and have to put considerable amount of effort when being organized. They find themselves being told they need to be responsible or be organized, or even that they need to take life more seriously. They often beat themselves up and feel down because they feel like they can never be totally responsible. Many will actually start believing they don't take life seriously, when in fact they actually do. It seems like when they try to be organized, it takes effort or need to have things done in a rigid, consistent routine, or else they will forget. These people have a hard time keeping track of multiple things. They often figure out on their own unconventional method to keep track of things. When they figure out method of organization they feel comfortable with, it's hard for them to be open to something different when having to do something new. Issues regarding to executive functioning problems. The first issue people with executive functioning struggle often encounter is disorganization. Imagine trying to be organized, but find it to be a struggle. It seems like no matter how hard you try to be organized, you seem to be living on top of a mess. Many people can relate to being messy. Imagine being neat to actually be more of a struggle than it initially appears. For these individuals, being organized is taxing to the mind. The process it takes to be organized in each unique task isn't immediately obvious. The steps don't immediately come to fruition. Instead, effort needs to be taken. You'll be tricked into thinking it's easy, but rushing will only make skipping crucial parts to the planning process. This can be undesirable, especially when a person is in a hurry or engaged in the middle of another task. The second issue people with executive functioning struggle often encounter is unpunctuality. Have you ever been in trouble for missing an appointment or event? People on the spectrum often deal with this on a daily basis. These individuals actually put a considerable amount of effort in trying to prevent such things from happening, but to others, it appears like they are not. They often feel frustrated and disorganized. Furthermore, they miss out on important opportunities. The reason why people on the spectrum often struggle with this is because they struggle with memory. They can be forgetful unless they write things down. If they do not write things down, it takes energy and effort to remember the event in order to prevent it from being forgotten. Trying to hold on a memory is like trying to hold on an umbrella during a windy rainstorm. You're trying not to let it blow out of your hand, but also trying to use your hands for other things like dodging flying debris, which is symbolic of life's distractions. The third issue people with executive functioning struggle often encounter is having a hard time with planning. It is tough for individuals to plan or manage a project. It involves organizing thoughts in different parts of the brain, often from different brain centers. The autistic brain is wired to focus on one idea at a time on a more intensive kind of level. Furthermore, it takes more effort for an autistic individual to switch from one brain center to another. They do have the ability to see the bigger picture, but it can be more of a struggle to do so. This can make planning a project at work or a casual event like a party hard at times. When it comes to planning an event, people on the spectrum are more detail-oriented. They like planning a specific part of a project, like photographing animals, for example. The fourth issue people with executive functioning struggle often encounter is the difficulty when it comes to making decisions. For the same reason it's hard for individuals to plan projects, it is also hard for them to make decisions. Many individuals put in a situation that involves making important decisions. They may have trouble deciding which decision is best. Their thinking involves ways that try to cope with their struggles of switching brain centers. This often involves careful, timely focus and thought in one aspect of a choice, and then strong assessment in another area of the choice. When comparing this mental process of decision-making to a typical non-autistic mind, the assessment jumps all over the brain at different brain centers faster and more so at the same time. However, their activated centers in the decision-making process are less focused, but they are able to see the bigger picture quicker. As a result, people on the spectrum need more time to make decisions. Once they finally make a final decision, it's not uncommon for them to realize factors later on which they wish they thought of earlier, causing them to change their mind. The fifth issue people with executive functioning struggle often encounter is stress and anxiety. All the issues mentioned so far are obviously things related to struggles, and this in return could make an individual stressed and experience anxiety. If you are on the spectrum or know of others, have you ever witnessed or experienced frustration but don't know why? This could most possibly be one of the reasons. There's careful focus an individual must follow when trying to remember deadlines or how to structure something in order to avoid forgetting, and this can be stressful. When an important deadline is forgotten, it is even more stressful and frustrating. You feel mad at yourself, and other people are, of course, mad at you. The bottom line is, anger, stress, and anxiety is an underestimated byproduct towards executive struggle. The sixth issue people with executive functioning struggle often encounter is an interesting compensation that goes towards the other end: extreme organization. Anxiety can be one byproduct. A second byproduct to executive function is that some people cope by actually being overly organized. In order to be disorganized, they must cope by learning rigid procedures. They learn unconventional methods to help them and then stick with them. Oftentimes, these methods help them become organized and be reliable individuals that might seem obsessive compulsive to others. Individuals may try to be overly neat or follow rules obsessively. Some might take considerable time color coding the notes in class. Maybe some will carefully organize their books by specific subject. They may put their things in specific drawers with labels, and if one thing gets put out of place, they could suddenly express anxiety. Some might carefully plan their day with time blocks. For example, they might eat everyday lunch at a specific time and stick to it. This might seem silly for some and a lot of unneeded effort taken, but it is immensely helpful to the individual in regards to assuring reliability. In the next video, we're going to talk about methods and coping strategies for the executive functioning struggle and their advantages and disadvantages for each. I hope you stay tuned and find these strategies helpful. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe.